What's up, guys, and welcome back to my garage. If you're enjoying this series, make sure to leave a like on the video. It would be greatly appreciated. In the last episode, I nearly lost my mind searching through the junkyard for a 454 that, from what I can tell, just doesn't exist. I think that commenter might have been getting their mods mixed up. Eventually, though, we were able to find a 380, but when I brought it back to the garage, it wasn't salvageable, and I wasn't ever able to find a better one. So what we ended up doing instead is we went EFI twin turbo with our 373, and it made just shy of 2,500 horsepower at the dyno, which is honestly kind of insane. But after I wrapped that recording, I decided to go back to the junkyard because I figured maybe I was just having some bad luck. And as it turns out, on my first visit there, in the first junk pile that I searched through, I was able to find a good condition 380 and 4-liter diesel. So what we're going to do today is swap our 373 out for this 380. We'll take it back to the dyno and we'll see how much horsepower it produces. There are a couple of other things that I want to do today, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Instead of stripping down the 373 completely, I've decided to leave it mostly intact. I've basically just removed all of the EFI and turbo components off of it. That way it's not going to take that much work for us to be able to rebuild this thing and use it in something else later. What that means for the 80 though, is it's going to get much more expensive for us, since all of the pricey internals are obviously still inside of this one. So this has now become the world's most expensive paperweight for now, like I said, until we find another use for it. We could put it in the parts truck, or we could go 4-liter diesel in the parts truck. I'm honestly kind of torn on that. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, but we do still have the standard components from the 373, you know, before we went EFI. So, I mean, on this top shelf here, we basically have a completed motor or engine. Sorry, motors are electric. I know better, but it's officially time for us to start basically throwing our entire bank account at the 380. You know what kind of sucks about this? If I didn't just do a bolt and nut tightening montage, you would have no idea that this is a completely different engine. I mean, they look identical. All I have left to do though is I need to top up the engine oil and the coolant, and then I think we're ready to head on down to the dyno to see what this baby can do. I will be so surprised if this thing somehow doesn't make over 2,500 horsepower. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I can't hardly drive it with keyboard and mouse. I'm really struggling. All right, I paid for our session. Let's get this thing strapped down, and we'll see what she's got. Hopefully, it does not disappoint. I am gonna be so very sad if for whatever reason it's not making as much jam as it probably should. We still have the, was it the 1.5 chip? We have the highest horsepower chip. I don't remember which one it was, if it was the 0.5 or the 1.5, but we still should have the highest horsepower chip in the ECU. So let's Go all the way up to 5th gear. And we'll see what she does. 3,000, ladies and gents. Why do I feel like that's anticlimactic? You know? It doesn't seem dangerous yet, but just you wait until we make our way out to the drag strip. It's gonna get hairy. Here we are, just cruising along in 5th gear. Watch what happens when I punch it. It immediately breaks the rear tires loose, dude. This thing is a literal death trap. But we're still gonna try to compete in the quarter-mile drag. It's time to see what 3,000 horsepower can do out here. I am using my controller again this time around because it's so very difficult to control it otherwise. Yeah, we're just ripping right through every single gear. That's 5th. Holy cow, hang on to it. 689, ladies and gents. We finally, not only did we not crash for a change, but we finally broken into the 6 seconds in the quarter mile. 6-second category is what I meant to say. That's insane. I do want to try it again, but I also don't want to try it again because I'm kind of worried we're gonna crash. Wait, oh. It's so, I don't know if it's just so low in the front to where it catches on the smallest imperfections in the pavement, but it doesn't like to stay on the ground at high speed. Oh, I should probably hit enter. Let's run it back, dude. Let's see if we can do any better than that. I might even just drop it straight down into 5th since it is fully capable of spinning the tires even in that gear. Yeah, you know, neutral drop immediately into 5th gear. How bad could that be? It does get really swirly, but a 6. Okay. We're just, how are we still sliding? How did that just happen? Hang on. How bad's the damage? Whoops. I should probably put it into neutral. Got a little stick drift here from the old controller. How did we slide? Oh, wow. So far on the passenger side of the vehicle. That's wild. That is wild. This thing, like I said before, a literal death trap, but I also kind of love it at the same time. You know what? Well, it's a bit late to check its overall value now. But we never checked that, I don't think, when it was fully complete. So let's head back to the garage before I saved, and we'll check that out. So after it was crashed, it was worth like 8,000 or 9,000. It better be worth more than that complete, and it is 18.4. Not too shabby. Color condition is only 2 stars, but like I've said before, that's just because we have a bunch of paintable parts in the engine bay, and the car isn't really sure why those parts aren't the same color as the body of the vehicle. If you remember me mentioning that there were a couple of additional things that I wanted to do at the start of this episode, there are a couple of extra things that I wanted to do, but time sort of got away from me, so we're going to have to save that stuff for the next episode. Having said that, that is where we're going to have to wind things down at for today. But once again, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.